my tips for Falco ICs. One, lasering is still good, as always. But you do have to be aware that the laser will only hit one of the climbers. Does that make sense or line up with
that makes sense? Yep.
So a big deal with that, though, is that in general, that doesn't matter, really. But when it does matter is, for example, let's say you laser and it's an approaching laser, okay? But they throw out like a jab right when you approaching laser. The laser will only stop one of them from jabbing, and then the other one will jab you. Does that make sense?
That does make sense, yep.
Another situation where it could matter, this is actually the most classic one probably, is Ice Climber's dash attack at you right when you're in laser range. So you laser one of them out of the dash attack, but then the other one hits you because you didn't shield or something. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
So the only way you have to be really careful when it comes to lasering is situations where they can either force the hit with dash attack, or it's like you're approaching them very close and they jab you out of it or something. So that's my first note for kind of how to be careful with that. My second tip is that platforms are really, really good. They can't really challenge them, But again, you shouldn't really. I mean, you've talked to me about this, I'm sure, but you shouldn't really camp platforms. You should use them to reposition.
So that's what So what ends up happening when I do play an ICs, I lost to an ICs tournament about a month ago, and I ended up getting too scared and platform camping, and then I would just get hit with a bunch of up airs.
Because platform camping is just a really good way to get up aired. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's platforms are all about repositioning. Because when you're on the platform, you don't have great ways of attacking the opponent without them defending themselves, It's like when Falco players start going to top platform versus Marth, and then they try to come down and hit him. I'm like, hello, it's Marth. He will hit you.
Yeah.
Ice Climbers also have very good up moves. And, it just puts you in a mix-up. You don't want to force the mix-up. You want to force an advantageous situation. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, yeah.
So, for example, let's say you're lasering and then you realize it's that uncomfortable range where you don't know what they're going to do. You can full jump or short hop, double jump, waveland to the side platform and then just wait to see what they do. And then if you think it's safe to drop through laser, you do that. And if it's not safe, then you jump to top platform, use the top platform to get to the other side platform, and then you come down,
Oh, yeah.
Does that kind of make sense?
Yep, that makes sense.
So platform's good for repositioning. My third note versus them is that delayed aerials are really, really, really good versus them. So what is normally an easy way for an opponent to counter you doing a delayed aerial approach?
What's an easy way for them to counter?
Yeah, if they know you're going to do a delayed aerial. And most
characters, they hit you before the delayed
Exactly. So can you give me an example of that?
So say against Sheik, she FTilts.
Yeah, Sheik FTilt is a perfect example. So now the thing with the FTilt is it hits in front of her and kind of high in the air, right? So what move of Ice Climbers can hit that spot? If they're just standing there and you laser and then you try to do a delayed approach.
Shit, I can't really. I don't know. Is up smash one, or is there
up smash is really slow though, right?
Yeah. I have no idea.
That's because they don't really have one.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Their only option that really hits that spot is actually back air.
Yes, and back air is pretty strong, right?
Yeah. So if they're facing backwards, delaying an aerial could be riskier, but they're facing backwards, then you don't really have to worry about getting shield grabbed. So you can do your aerials a little earlier. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And also, if you bait the back air, then you can just go in afterwards pretty easily. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, yep.
So because Ice Climbers don't really have a good attack in that zone, it's actually very hard for them to deal with you doing delayed aerial approaches. And also, one of the benefits of doing the delayed fast fall nair approach, or down air, is that you kind of don't have to worry about the fast fall timing when you're hitting multiple shields.
Oh, so my question is, what is the preferable aerial?
I mean, either one, really. I mean, nair's safer on shield, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like every other matchup. It depends on percent, spacing, etc., right?
Yeah.
Nair is safer, so once they're out of a percent where they could ever CC punish it, Nair is just pretty much always better unless you're gonna fly over their head. But if you're aiming the move directly on top of them and they're not gonna be able to move out of the way, then Nair is typically better than down air.
I see. Okay.
Make sense?
Yep, makes sense.
So anyway, so that's tip number 3 is the delayed aerials and understanding like how Ice Climber's hitboxes work, kind of, you know? Because up smash might work if it was like faster. Forward air might work if it was faster. Back air kind of works, but then you can hit the back of their shield pretty safely with an early aerial, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of my description of all that. And then I think my last thing I'll say is it's kind of a 2-part thing. One, don't be afraid to just solo combo the main climber. A big thing I see is when Falco players fight Ice Climbers, their punish game goes to shit. And that's because they're so focused on like what they should be doing that they don't they end up doing like 20 damage combos. And like, dude, if you were comboing any other floaty character, you'd be ripping out 40, 50 damage combos, right?
Yeah.
And like, imagine comboing a Peach. Like, Falco has a pretty decent combo game on Peach, right?
I agree.
Yeah, and like, you know, like a solo climber is kind of like comboing a Peach. Like, kind of floaty, etc.
I think it's even easier.
Yeah, it's even easier than comboing a Peach because they can't like float to get out of your combos, right?
Yeah.
So it's like comboing an easier Peach. And if you know, we've all seen like Mango or PP rip out like 40 to 80 damage even on Peach. So dude, imagine a solo climber, right?
Yeah.
Like they should just get fucked up. So like don't be afraid, like if you get a clean hit on them, just rock with the full combo, you know? And just combo them literally normally. I actually think that's really, really huge. And then my other thought is if you ever are comboing the backup climber, do not combo them vertically. Combo them horizontally, with the exception of knowing for a fact that you have a guaranteed kill setup.
Is that because the main climber will be able to threaten with like up air? Up air has like priority.
Well, that's
like
actually a good point too, but that's not the main reason. The main reason is just because your vertical combos just kind of suck. Like in terms of because like you can't really kill the backup, but like vertical combos only build damage essentially, right?
Oh, but it's way easier to kill Nana horizontally.
Exactly, right? You kill her by pushing her off the edge, not by raising her damage, right?
Yeah.
So also, horizontally comboing her also does more damage for what it's worth because back air does 15%.
Yeah, that's a really actually that tip probably hits home more with me in term like I think I need to work on that because I think you saw before when I would like combo either Falco or Fox. Sometimes I get quick to like do these platform shine waveland stuff. Yeah. So so don't really go for that kind of stuff, especially against
unless you know there's a guaranteed kill setup off the top. So for example, shine up B sometimes is just a guaranteed kill, right? So I think that's fine then. But I think you should. One of my least favorite things to see Falcos do is just kind of spam shine when they're high in the air. It's like it doesn't actually just auto kill or something. You should know the percents and the positions where it will kill and won't kill. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Yep.
So I think that's a big deal. Another thing is that so like an example combo on the backup would be maybe shine into full jump bear into falling bear into FSmash.
Oh, wait. Full jump bear into falling bear?
Yeah, you can get 2 back airs out in a full hop.
Yes, but like the back air would have to send them in a trajectory that you can just back air them.
But it's like, well, it doesn't have to be a true combo because the backup climber is not going to do anything.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Right. So you just back air, and it's like a level 1 CPU, right? Like you just fall and then you just back air them again.
Okay, so you said a common combo is full jump back air. Like
doing like a shine into full jump bear into falling bear would be like a really good combo.
Okay, yeah.
Because then it pushes them towards the edge, you build a lot of percent, and then you might be able to F smash or run off double jump dare or like forward tilt or something.
Oh, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. So those are kind of like my overall tips. Like you don't know anything about ice climbers, that's what I'll tell you. Also one more thing actually. Down throw down air escapes. Are you familiar with how down throw down air works?
So I've had it done on me before. I don't know the exact inputs you're supposed to do.
Okay, I can just explain it then.
Yeah.
A lot of people say you can just hold the direction, and I'm almost positive that's not true. It depends how they do the down air, actually. So they can actually do the down air when you're very high up or when you're very low to the ground, right? And if they do it when you're higher up, then it'll take you longer to reach the ground.
Yes.
And you escape the combo by reaching the ground. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
So the best way to SDI out of it is some sort of down-related SDI. Typically, I do down and away so that I get horizontally further and touch the ground sooner. But theoretically, I think just down is fine because you just touch the ground immediately. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Yep.
So, yeah, I essentially recommend you SDI the down throw, down air, down and away from the ice climbers, and then you'll be able to like escape it. And your escape options can be anything from like you can SDI and then FSmash, you can SDI and then roll, spot dodge, up tilt, full hop, side B. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but it's important not to be predictable afterwards.
Wait, so you can do all those options out of the
because you're touching the ground immediately. That's the whole thing. Like when people just SDI away, they don't have time to do more escapes. But the sooner you touch the ground, the more time you have to do things.
So what are the directions you do? Are you doing down and away for both sticks?
It doesn't really matter. So I mean, have we talked before about how the C stick is just
yes, it just overrides.
Yeah, it just overrides. So it doesn't actually matter. I mean, you can hold it just in case, you mistime the control stick input.
Gotcha.
But it doesn't actually matter or anything. I mean, if you want to, you could ASDI straight down and then SDI down and away, and that could be good too because you get a little more down. I mean, it doesn't really matter. All of those would be effective.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
So that will be that's kind of my full intro on ice climber stuff. So does that kind of all help?
Yeah, that all helps.
Maybe we should talk about throws also. So
yes, I was going to ask you that. Yeah.
If you ever can grab the solo climber and it won't be ambiguous which one you grab, grabbing is really fucking OP because they don't have a good spot dodge or roll and they don't have a shine. They're bad at fighting up close. So if you're ever just fighting the solo climber, just grab them a ton. Or even if they're slightly separated and you can kind of force a grab on the main one, go for it. Yeah. I think it's pretty good. And then on the off chance you grab the backup or you're not sure which one you grab, down throw is probably the best default because you can down throw and then just shine to keep yourself safe afterwards. But it is actually the case that if you down throw, if they don't shield and they just move out of the way instead, they can actually punish your down throw with a dash attack or a smash attack.
So would forward throw be better?
Yes, in that case. But then that's kind of a mix-up because if you forward throw and they shield it, they can punish you out of shield. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's actually a really big deal. Just knowing that, you don't actually have a guaranteed throw. I actually think the down throw versus forward throw is 50-50, but I would say defaulting to the down throw is safer because most people tend to shield in that situation.
Yeah. Okay.
And also, if you're wrong on the forward throw and they shield it, then you get grabbed, which is much worse than getting down smashed or dash attacked, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Especially if you have good DI. And then the other thing is just, like I said, typically go for the grabs more when you kind of know you can grab the main one.
I also have a question so when I see Mango, there's one set I saw...
Let's definitely analyze Mango today, but go ahead.
Okay. Well, he threw in a lot of down tilts. Does that...
Down tilt's fine. I have no real comment on it. I mean, there's a lot of moves that are situationally very strong. There are certain spacings and timings where down tilt is very safe and pretty good.
Yeah, and so my questions were about how good are down tilt,
FSmash probably, right?
FSmash and FTilt. Is FTilt is that a good move?
They're all fine. I mean, I don't think there's anything special about them. Like I said, there are lots of situations where it's a really good spot to do it in and they can't really challenge you for it. So I think it's okay to do them, but I wouldn't go out of your way to be let me find ways to F-smash them or down tilt them, which is what a lot of people do. They're how do I spam this move that's supposed to be good versus ice climbers? It's no, just do what you normally do, but there are spots where they can't do much about the F-smash or the down tilt, and you can kind of learn those over time. So when you watch a Mango VOD and you see an F-smash, ask yourself, it's okay, well, was that a good F-smash? And if so, you can think about why. Make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.